Grapefruit and eye health belong together in a story that turns out to be far richer than most people expect. Over the next little while, you will see several simple, affordable ways to combine grapefruit with familiar everyday ingredients, while we explore how this bright citrus fruit connects to your vision, the nutrients it carries inside every juicy segment, the traditions that surround it, and the easiest ways to make it a natural part of daily life. Everything here is practical, and everything is within reach of an ordinary kitchen, using foods you already recognize and tools you already own. This is a story about one humble fruit and one of the most delicate, most remarkable systems in the entire human body, and about the quiet, beautiful chemistry that connects the two. Let us begin with a simple question. How can a fruit that is almost 90% water carry so much meaning for something as precise as sight? The answer lives inside its color, its juice, and the nutrients it shares with your eyes. Grapefruit is generous with vitamin C, one of the most important protective nutrients in the human diet. It offers natural plant pigments, especially in the pink and red varieties, and it brings gentle hydration in every single bite. Each of these has a quiet role to play in the larger story of grapefruit for eye health, and together they make this fruit far more than a bright and cheerful start to the morning. Here is a useful place to begin in the kitchen. Half a grapefruit, simply spooned straight from its skin, is one of the easiest and most affordable habits anyone can build. A single medium grapefruit offers a meaningful share of the vitamin C many people aim for across a whole day, along with fiber, folate, and potassium held inside its flesh. When you eat the whole segments, you keep that fiber, which slows the natural sugars and keeps the experience gentle and steady. When you press the fruit into juice, you gain a more concentrated, convenient burst of vitamin C and flavor, though you leave much of the fiber behind. Both forms have their place, and simply knowing the difference helps you choose the one that fits the moment. One appealing way to enjoy grapefruit is alongside earthy and warming partners. Grapefruit, combined with a little beet and a small piece of fresh ginger, creates a drink with a deep ruby tone and a lively, invigorating character. Beets bring natural dietary nitrates that support healthy circulation, and steady circulation matters for delicate tissues, including the fine network of tiny vessels that nourish the eyes. Ginger adds warmth and a pleasant sharpness that balances grapefruit's brightness. A thumb-sized piece of ginger is usually plenty, since its flavor is bold and a little goes a long way. This kind of combination turns a plain glass into something that feels both refreshing and quietly grounding at the same time. Now the story becomes even more interesting, because grapefruit is surprisingly young. While many fruits stretch back thousands of years, grapefruit as we know it appeared only a few centuries ago. It was first described on the island of Barbados in the 1700s, where an early naturalist noticed a curious new fruit and gave it the memorable name of the forbidden fruit. Grapefruit is a natural cross between two other citrus fruits, the large and ancient pomelo, which traces back to the warm regions of Southeast Asia, and the familiar sweet orange. So this fruit carries the heritage of a very old parent inside a young and modern form, a humble fruit connected to distant soil, generous sunlight, and centuries of quiet botanical chants. The name itself holds a small clue. Grapefruit often grows in tight clusters on the branch, hanging together in groups that reminded early growers of oversized grapes, and so the name gradually took hold. From those Caribbean beginnings, the fruit traveled north and found a welcoming home in the warm groves of Florida in the early 1800s. There it flourished, and over time new varieties emerged with deeper pink and red flesh. One of the most beloved red types was discovered in Texas nearly a century ago, appearing almost like a gift on a single branch of a single tree. From an island curiosity to vast sunlit orchards, grapefruit became a familiar and cheerful face on breakfast tables all around the world. To understand why grapefruit matters for the eyes, it helps to picture the eye as a living camera. Light enters through the clear front window, the cornea passes through the lens and lands on a delicate, light-sensitive screen at the very back called the retina. On that screen, specialized cells capture light and turn it into signals your brain reads as vision. This whole system works tirelessly from the first light of morning to the dim glow of evening, and it depends on a steady supply of specific nutrients to build, repair, and protect its finest parts. This is where a colorful, varied diet quietly enters the picture, and where a simple fruit like grapefruit finds its meaningful role. Consider what happens in dim light, in that moment when you step from a bright room into a darker one and slowly begin to see again. Inside the retina, a light-sensitive pigment allows your eyes to adjust to darkness and to see in low light. Building and refreshing that pigment depends on vitamin A. The body can make its own vitamin A from a plant pigment called beta-carotene, the same family of orange and red pigments found in many colorful fruits and vegetables. Pink and red grapefruit contain beta-carotene, which the body can gradually convert into vitamin A as it needs it. This is one of nature's most elegant arrangements. A pigment that gives a fruit its warm color becomes raw material for the pigment that helps you see as daylight fades. One tiny molecule carrying a remarkably large responsibility. A wonderful partner for grapefruit here is leafy green. Grapefruit combined with a bright squeeze of lemon and a generous handful of fresh spinach creates a drink where citrus meets garden green in a single glass. Spinach is one of the richest everyday sources of lutein and zeaxanthin, two pigments that gather in the retina itself, concentrate in its central point, and help filter harsh light like a natural pair of internal sunglasses. Lemon adds extra vitamin C and lifts the flavor, while grapefruit ties the whole glass together with its juicy, slightly tart character. This is a beautiful example of how a humble citrus fruit becomes even more valuable for the eyes when it shares the space with the right green companion. Let us look more closely at vitamin C, because grapefruit is one of the classic examples of a citrus fruit rich in this nutrient. Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant, and the tissues of the eye hold some of the highest concentrations of vitamin C found anywhere in the body, a quiet clue to how much this delicate organ values it. Vitamin C supports the fine blood vessels that carry nourishment to the retina, and it helps the body build collagen, a structural protein that gives strength and shape to many parts of the eye, including the clear cornea. Vitamin C is water-soluble, which means the body does not store large amounts of it, so a regular supply from fresh foods is a genuinely useful daily habit. A single grapefruit can contribute a generous share of that supply. This is also a good reason to treat grapefruit gently and enjoy it fresh. Vitamin C is a delicate nutrient, and it fades over time and with strong heat. A grapefruit eaten soon after cutting, or a juice sipped shortly after pressing, delivers more of that bright vitamin C than one left to sit for a long while. It is a small detail, yet it explains why fresh, simple preparations often feel so vivid and alive on the tongue. The freshest form is usually the most rewarding, and happily, grapefruit is one of the easiest fruits in the world to prepare fresh in only a minute or two. There is a special place at the very center of the retina that deserves a moment of wonder. It is a tiny spot smaller than the head of a pin, and it is responsible for your sharpest, most detailed central vision, the very kind you are using to focus on fine detail right now. This little region is unusually rich in protective yellow pigments, the same lutein and zeaxanthin found in leafy greens, which is one reason colorful plant foods are so often connected with eye health. Grapefruit does not lead in those particular pigments, yet its bright vitamin C and its own warm carotenoids make it a natural companion to the greens and vegetables that do. Together, On one varied plate, they help support that precious central point. Vitamin C has one more quiet role worth mentioning here. The clear lens inside the eye, which fine-tunes your focus from near to far, sits in a fluid that is remarkably rich in vitamin C, far richer than the blood itself. The eye seems to deliberately concentrate this nutrient, gathering it close where the demands of light and focus never truly rest. While no single food decides the health of something so wonderfully complex, keeping a steady, gentle supply of vitamin C from fresh fruits like grapefruit is a sensible and pleasant way to support the body's own careful work. It is one more reason this cheerful citrus quietly earns its place at the table. For a gentler, warming option, grapefruit pairs beautifully with ginger on its own. A small cup of warm water with a spoonful of fresh grapefruit juice and a little finely grated ginger makes a soothing, fragrant drink especially pleasant on a cool morning. Keep the water warm rather than boiling so the fresh flavors stay lively and the vitamin C is treated kindly. A drink like this feels comforting and simple, and it offers a light, aromatic way to bring a little grapefruit into the start of the day without any fuss at all. Warmth, fragrance, and a gentle citrus lift, all from a single spoonful of juice and a pinch of grated root. Here is a detail worth pausing on. Have you ever wondered why some grapefruit glows a deep rosy red while others stay pale and golden? The answer is a pigment called lycopene, the very same natural coloring that gives tomatoes and watermelon their rich red hue. Lycopene is an antioxidant, and pink and red grapefruit are among the more accessible fruit sources of it. In general, the deeper and redder the flesh, the more of these protective pigments the fruit tends to carry. Antioxidants like lycopene and vitamin C work quietly as part of the body's daily maintenance, helping protect delicate tissues, including those in the eyes, from the ordinary wear of an active, light-filled life. In this fruit, color is far more than beauty. Color is a message about what lies inside. Here is a reassuring piece of nature's design. When you eat plant pigments like the beta-carotene in pink grapefruit and in carrots, the body does something rather clever. It converts that beta-carotene into vitamin A gradually, only as much as it needs, and calmly sets the rest aside. This gentle, self-regulating rhythm is one of the quiet advantages of drawing nutrients from whole, colorful foods rather than from strong, isolated doses. It means a plate of bright fruits and vegetables offers the eyes their raw materials in a balanced, unhurried way. A humble grapefruit, a handful of carrots, a scatter of greens, and the body simply takes what it requires day by day exactly as it was designed to do. Return for a moment to that image of the eye as a living camera and consider how astonishing the finished picture truly is. Countless tiny light-sensing cells at the back of the eye respond to a single beam of light, translate it into a whisper of electricity, and pass that whisper along toward the brain, where it becomes the sight of a sunrise, a familiar face, or the color of a ripe grapefruit resting in a bowl. This entire performance repeats millions of times, silently, in every waking moment. A fruit that helps supply the raw materials for such delicate machinery is playing a small part in something genuinely magnificent, and it asks for so very little in return. One of the most cheerful ways to enjoy grapefruit is in a golden, carotenoid-rich blend. Grapefruit brought together with sweet orange, a little carrot, and a piece of banana makes a smooth, naturally sweet drink with a warm, sunny color. Carrot is famous for its beta-carotene, the pigment the body turns into vitamin A, and orange adds even more vitamin C to grapefruit's own generous share. Banana softens the tartness and gives the drink a gentle, creamy body along with a helpful dose of potassium. If you prefer more fiber and a fuller feeling afterward, blend the fruits whole rather than pressing them so nothing valuable is left behind and the natural sweetness stays beautifully balanced. Choosing a good grapefruit is simple once you know what to look for. A fine grapefruit feels heavy for its size, which is a reliable sign that it is full of juice. The skin should be smooth, firm, and slightly springy with a fresh citrusy fragrance near the stem end. A little roughness or a few minor marks on the peel rarely affect the fruit inside, so there is no need to search for flawless skin. Being slightly flattened at the ends is perfectly normal. Heaviness and firmness are your two best guides. Pink and red varieties tend to be a touch sweeter and carry more of those warm pigments, while golden ones offer a brighter, sharper, more traditional grapefruit tang for those who love it. Storing grapefruit is easy and forgiving. Another reason it is such a practical fruit. Left on the counter, a grapefruit stays pleasant for several days and quietly fills the room with its aroma. Kept in the cooler part of the refrigerator, it can stay fresh and juicy for 2 to 3 weeks, which makes it wonderfully convenient to keep on hand. Before cutting into any citrus, it helps to rinse the whole fruit under cool running water and rub the skin gently, even when you plan to eat only the flesh, because your knife carries whatever sits on the peel straight through into the fruit. A quick rinse and a gentle rub are usually all that firm citrus needs. Here is a practical idea many people overlook entirely. Grapefruit is lovely in a fresh salad, not only in a glass. Peel a grapefruit, separate the segments, and toss them with crisp leaves and perhaps a little thinly sliced vegetable for crunch. Then add a small drizzle of flaxseed oil, about 1 teaspoon, stirred through at the very end. This matters for more than flavor. Several of the eye-friendly pigments in colorful plants, including the carotenoids, are fat-soluble, which means the body absorbs them more fully when a little healthy fat shares the plate. A teaspoon of flaxseed oil, added cool to a finished salad, is a simple, thoughtful way to help your body make the most of those valuable pigments. A gentle trick makes grapefruit segments effortless. If you slice a thin piece off the top and bottom so the fruit sits flat, then cut away the peel in strips following its round shape, you are left with clean, glistening flesh ready to separate. From there, the segments lift away easily, free of the papery membrane, sweet and ready for a bowl or a plate. Prepared this way, grapefruit feels less like a chore and more like a small pleasure, and the tidy segments make a beautiful addition to a breakfast bowl, a spoon of plain yogurt, or a scattering of other fresh fruit for a bright and colorful start. Grapefruit carries a lovely seasonal secret. Its peak arrives in the cooler months, roughly through winter and into early spring, exactly when many other fresh fruits grow scarce and the days feel gray. In that quiet season, grapefruit appears glowing and generous, a burst of sunshine color and bright flavor at the very moment the body most welcomes something fresh and rich in vitamins. Choosing fruit in its natural season often means better taste, better value, and produce at its fullest. So, a winter bowl of grapefruit is not only cheerful to look at, it is a thoughtful, timely way to keep fresh nourishment close when it matters most. Beyond vitamin C and its pigments, grapefruit quietly offers a little folate and potassium as well. Folate is a nutrient the body relies on for healthy cells and steady renewal, part of the constant, unseen upkeep that keeps every tissue, including those in the eyes, in good repair. Potassium helps maintain the body's natural fluid balance, which supports healthy circulation and comfortable hydration through the day. Neither arrives in dramatic amounts, yet both add to the gentle, well-rounded package this fruit provides. It is a fine reminder that whole foods rarely offer just one benefit. They tend to bring a small, balanced chorus of them all at once. For the lightest possible way to enjoy grapefruit's character, a jug of water with a few thin slices dropped in is hard to beat. Let it rest in the refrigerator for an hour or two, and the water takes on a delicate, refreshing citrus note, faintly rosy if the fruit is red. It is a gentle, almost effortless way to make plain water more inviting, which quietly encourages the steady hydration that keeps the whole body, eyes included, comfortable. Sip it through the day, top up the jug as you go, and let a single grapefruit brighten several glasses at once. For anyone who finds grapefruit a little too sharp, gentler company is the answer. Grapefruit softened with sweet mandarin and a piece of banana becomes mild, mellow, and easy to enjoy while still delivering a lovely dose of vitamin C. Mandarins bring their own bright sweetness and a touch of natural sugar that rounds off grapefruit's tartness, and banana adds a smooth, satisfying body. This is an especially welcoming combination for children or for anyone easing into the flavor of grapefruit for the very first time. A gentle introduction often turns a hesitant first taste into a lasting habit, and habits more than any single glass are where the real value quietly lives. Let us return to that surprising fact about water, because it holds a small gift for the eyes. Grapefruit is close to 90% water, and this quiet quality supports vision in its own way. The front surface of the eye relies on a delicate film of moisture, a natural tear layer that keeps sight clear and comfortable through the day. Staying well hydrated helps the body maintain that comfortable moisture. Water-rich foods like grapefruit contribute to your overall fluid intake in a delicious, effortless way alongside the plain water you already drink. Think of juicy fruit as hydration you can taste, a small and pleasant part of keeping the whole body, including these tireless eyes, comfortable and well supplied from morning to night. There is also a hidden layer of flavor worth understanding. That distinctive, slightly bitter edge in grapefruit comes from natural flavonoids, a family of plant compounds that citrus fruits carry in their flesh and peel. Far from being a flaw, this gentle bitterness is a signature of grapefruit's rich plant chemistry, and these flavonoids act as antioxidants of their own. It is a reminder that flavor and nourishment often travel together in whole foods, and that the very taste which makes grapefruit unmistakable is tied to the compounds that make it valuable. A familiar tang quietly connected to centuries of plant wisdom and the delicate machinery of a healthy body. It is worth understanding the gentle difference between blending and juicing, since both appear in kitchens everywhere. Blending keeps the whole fruit together, fiber and all, giving a thicker drink that fills you up and releases its natural sugars slowly and comfortably. Juicing separates the liquid from the fiber, giving a lighter, more concentrated drink that delivers its vitamins quickly and feels wonderfully refreshing. Neither is better in every situation. A thicker blend can serve as a small meal, while a light juice makes a bright companion to one. Knowing what each one does lets you match the preparation to your mood, your appetite, and the moment, which is really what practical, everyday cooking is all about. One especially satisfying way to enjoy grapefruit turns it into a simple breakfast bowl. Spoon clean grapefruit segments over a serving of plain yogurt, add a little other fresh fruit if you like, and you have a bright, colorful start that balances the fruit's tang with a creamy softness. The natural fat in yogurt pairs pleasantly with grapefruit's carotenoids, and the whole bowl feels almost indulgent while staying light and wholesome. It comes together in a couple of minutes, needs no cooking at all, and turns a single grapefruit into a genuinely lovely meal. Small, simple habits like this are exactly how fresh fruit quietly becomes part of an ordinary week. Now we arrive at one of the most powerful pairings of all for the eyes. Grapefruit brought together with carrot and spinach unites 3 colors and 3 kinds of goodness in a single glass. Carrot brings beta-carotene for vitamin A. Spinach delivers the lutein and zeaxanthin that gather in the retina. And grapefruit adds its bright vitamin C and a refreshing lift that keeps the earthy vegetables from ever tasting heavy. This is a genuine eye-supporting trio, and it shows the heart of the whole idea beautifully. No single food does everything on its own, but grapefruit shines as part of a colorful, varied plate, tying strong companions together into something greater than any one of them could be alone. This idea of variety deserves special attention because it is the real secret. The eyes, like the rest of the body, face a steady, natural process of oxidation as part of simply being alive and awake in a world full of light. To meet it, the body runs a quiet, constant system of maintenance, and antioxidants from food are part of the raw material it draws upon. No single nutrient carries the whole task. Vitamin C from grapefruit, carotenoids from carrots and from grapefruit's own warm pigments, lutein from leafy greens, and countless other compounds each add a small, useful contribution. This is why a plate full of many colors tends to serve the eyes better than any one food, however wonderful, standing alone. Step back for a moment and picture the wider citrus family, one of the most well-traveled groups of fruits on earth. Oranges, lemons, mandarins, pomelos, and grapefruit are all cousins carried by traders and travelers across oceans and continents over many centuries, planted in the warm corners of the world wherever they would take root. Grapefruit is one of the youngest branches on that ancient family tree, a newcomer among old relatives, and yet today it is grown by the millions of tons and known on nearly every continent. From a single curious tree on one small island to a vast global harvest, its journey is a quiet marvel of nature and human hands working together. Grapefruit also has a savory side that many people never explore. Its bright, tart juice makes a lively base for a simple dressing over fresh greens. Whisk a spoonful of grapefruit juice with a teaspoon of flaxseed oil and the smallest pinch of salt, then trickle it over crisp leaves for a salad that feels clean, modern, and alive. The citrus lifts the greens, the flaxseed oil adds a smooth, cool richness and helps carry those fat-soluble pigments, and the whole plate comes together in a moment. It is a fresh reminder that grapefruit belongs at lunch and dinner just as naturally as it does at breakfast. Another simple sunny combination brings grapefruit together with carrot and orange. This trio is rich in the warm pigments the body loves, layering grapefruit's tang over carrot's earthy sweetness and orange's familiar brightness. It is an easy, affordable blend built from ingredients found in almost any market, in almost any season, and it delivers a generous mix of vitamin C and carotenoids in one friendly glass. If the natural flavor feels a little strong, a splash of water lightens it beautifully, making it gentler on the palate and easier to sip slowly and enjoy. Simple foods, thoughtfully combined, quietly do a great deal of good, and they rarely ask for anything expensive or hard to find. So, when is the best time to enjoy grapefruit, and how much makes sense for a comfortable routine? For most people, morning or early afternoon is a natural place for grapefruit when its bright, awakening flavor feels most welcome and most refreshing. Half a grapefruit or a small glass of fresh juice on most days of the week fits easily into a varied diet without any strain. If juice ever tastes too intense, dilute it with a little water, which softens the tartness and sits more comfortably. One thoughtful note fits naturally here. Grapefruit can interact with a number of common medications, so if you take regular prescriptions, a quick word with a pharmacist or doctor is a wise and simple step that lets you enjoy this fruit with complete peace of mind. Let us look a little deeper at that quiet idea of daily maintenance. Every time your eyes gather light, and they gather an extraordinary amount of it over a lifetime, a small amount of ordinary wear naturally follows. Much as bright sunlight gently softens a colorful fabric over the years, the body meets this steadily with its own protective systems, and it draws on antioxidants from food to help vitamin C, the carotenoids, and the many colorful compounds in fresh produce all lend a hand in this ongoing unseen work. There is nothing alarming in any of it. It is simply the everyday rhythm of a living body, and colorful eating is one calm, pleasant way to keep supporting it. A helpful way to think about all of this is by color rather than by counting. Aim across a week for a plate that carries many shades: the orange of carrots, the deep green of spinach, the gold and rose of grapefruit, and the many other colors of whatever is fresh and affordable near you. Each color tends to signal a different family of protective compounds, so variety itself becomes a kind of quiet nutrition strategy. Grapefruit is one bright, cheerful thread to weave through that colorful week. There is no need for perfection or strict rules. A gentle, colorful variety enjoyed regularly does far more good than any single perfect food ever could. For a more filling and satisfying drink, grapefruit blends wonderfully with carrot and banana. Banana lends a creamy, smooth texture and a natural sweetness that beautifully balances grapefruit's edge, while carrot adds its golden pigments and a gentle, earthy flavor underneath. This combination feels almost like a light meal in a glass, which makes it a lovely choice for a morning that needs to carry you comfortably through to lunch. Blending the fruit whole keeps the fiber, which slows the release of natural sugars and adds a steady, lasting fullness. A drink like this quietly proves that eye-friendly nutrition can also be genuinely nourishing, satisfying, and pleasant enough to look forward to. There is one more part of the grapefruit worth knowing, and it is often thrown away without a second thought. The colorful outer zest of a well-washed grapefruit is fragrant and edible, rich in aromatic oils and the lively compounds that give citrus its unmistakable character. A thin strip of clean grapefruit peel steeped in a cup of hot water for 5 to 10 minutes, then lifted out, makes a light, fragrant, gentle infusion, almost like a simple citrus tea. Use only the peel of a fruit you've rinsed well, and enjoy it in moderation for its aroma and warmth. It is a resourceful, waste-nothing way to draw a little extra pleasure from a fruit you were already enjoying, turning even the peel into something quietly worthwhile. Here is a small number that puts this fruit in perspective. A single large grapefruit can hold well over half a cup of juice, and all the vitamin C, the pigments, and the bright flavor of that whole fruit are gathered into just a few refreshing mouthfuls. It is easy to forget how much goodness sits inside one ordinary piece of fruit, resting quietly in a bowl. When you sip a fresh glass, you are in a sense drinking the sunlight, the rain, and the slow, patient work of a whole season, concentrated into a single vivid moment of flavor. That is a quietly wonderful thing to consider over an ordinary breakfast. In many homes, grapefruit has long carried a reputation as a bright, awakening food, a cheerful way to shake off the heaviness of a cold morning and begin the day feeling fresh. That reputation is a matter of tradition and personal experience rather than a medical promise, yet the pleasure of it is entirely real. A cool, fragrant citrus fruit, tart and clean on the tongue, has a way of making the senses feel more awake. Enjoyed as part of a balanced breakfast, it offers a genuinely lovely start, and traditions like this often endure precisely because so many generations found them simply and reliably enjoyable. Grapefruit also pairs delightfully with mandarin and carrot for a sweeter, sunnier take on citrus. The mandarins bring soft, honeyed sweetness that gentles grapefruit's tang, while carrot contributes its warm beta-carotene and a smooth, mellow base beneath the brightness. Together, they form a cheerful blend that is very easy to love and generous in the vitamin C and carotenoids that support eye-friendly nutrition. It is an especially inviting way to enjoy grapefruit for anyone who leans towards sweeter flavors, and it keeps the whole experience light, refreshing, and welcoming from the very first sip to the last. Sometimes the gentlest version of a good habit is the one that truly lasts. Across many cultures and many years, bright citrus fruits have been treasured as symbols of freshness, energy, and vitality. Grapefruit earned a cherished place on the breakfast table, valued as a lively, awakening way to open the day, and often associated in everyday tradition with feeling clear, refreshed, and renewed. These are traditional and cultural associations rather than medical claims, yet there is real wisdom in the old habit of beginning a morning with something fresh, colorful, and full of natural goodness. Modern nutrition simply adds a deeper layer of understanding to a custom that generations discovered on their own through simple daily experience and an honest love of good, fresh food shared at the table. Grapefruit even makes a refreshing, wholesome finish to a meal. A few chilled segments, perhaps alongside a little other fruit, offer a clean, palate-brightening close to lunch or dinner in place of something heavier, and their gentle tartness feels wonderfully refreshing after a savory plate. As with any good thing, a comfortable moderate amount is what keeps the rhythm balanced and pleasant. Roughly one fruit on the days you reach for it, enjoyed as part of a varied plate rather than in place of one. Grapefruit was never meant to carry the whole weight of a healthy diet on its own. It is happiest and most useful as one bright and welcome member of a colorful everyday table, sharing the work gladly with all the other fresh foods around it. Part of grapefruit's quiet magic is its fragrance. The moment the peel is broken, a fine mist of citrus oil lifts into the air, fresh and faintly sweet, and that bright scent alone can lift a sleepy morning. Aroma and flavor travel together in this fruit, and both are at their liveliest when it is fresh. This is one more small reason to enjoy grapefruit soon after preparing it, while its color glows and its scent sits at its peak. Even the simplest pairing feels a little special when the fruit is this fresh, this fragrant, and this full of quiet life. One more bright pairing brings grapefruit together with lemon and carrot. Lemon sharpens and refreshes, carrot sweetens and colors, and grapefruit sits happily in the middle, tart and juicy and full of vitamin C. It is a clean, invigorating combination, layering two citrus fruits over the gentle earthiness of carrot for a glass that feels both lively and grounding at once. A little water softens it nicely if the flavor runs strong, making it easy and pleasant to sip. Like so many of these ideas, it is affordable, simple, and built from ingredients you can find almost anywhere, proving once again how much genuine good can come from just a few humble foods. As we draw all of these ideas together, the simplest path stands out clearly. A practical way to enjoy grapefruit for eye health is to make it a regular, gentle habit rather than a rare occasion. Half a grapefruit spooned from its skin or a small glass of fresh juice on most days is an easy and affordable foundation, and none of it asks for rare powders, costly extracts, or special equipment. Eat it whole when you want more fiber and a steadier feeling, and press it into juice when you want a concentrated, convenient burst of vitamin C. Let it share the plate with colorful companions like carrot and spinach, whose carotenoids and retinal pigments beautifully complement its own bright vitamin C. And add a teaspoon of flaxseed oil to a fresh grapefruit salad so the body absorbs those fat-soluble pigments more fully. Keep the fruit in the cool of the refrigerator where it stays fresh for weeks, and give it a quick rinse before cutting. Prepare it fresh, since vitamin C is at its brightest soon after cutting. Dilute the juice with a little water whenever the tartness feels strong. And lean on sweeter partners like mandarin and banana when you want something gentler. Enjoy it most in the morning or early afternoon when its bright character feels most at home. And so we return to where we began, to a single bright fruit resting in a bowl, heavy with juice and glowing gold or rosy red. Grapefruit is simple, familiar, and affordable, and yet it carries freshness, nourishment, history, and a whole quiet chain of nutrients that support the delicate, tireless work of sight. When it joins a plate full of many colors, it becomes part of something far larger, a thoughtful, everyday way of eating that supports not only the eyes but the entire body. One humble fruit, one remarkable sense, and a simple, joyful habit truly worth keeping for a lifetime.